If we dip below the water, we could see a bunch of legs. Just a bunch of legs and butts. Just a bunch of legs and butts. We can see that she's doing absolutely nothing. This lying son of a bitch. Surprisingly, the glass shatter effect when you summon your persona isn't pre-rendered. In fact, nothing in the battles are pre-rendered. Look how freaking cool this looks. Here's a look at the all-out attacks. You'd think these for sure would be pre-rendered, but no. You can even go inside the giant smoke cloud and see that the characters are actually still fighting, kinda. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to summon a persona from Makoto's perspective, here you go. Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. At the dorm, Fuka is aggressively typing on her laptop. If we take a closer look, we can see that she's doing absolutely nothing. Junpei is killing some time reading a manga, but it's not just any manga, it's a manga about baseball, which is something that he's into. Nice attention to detail, Persona dev team. Supposedly, there's never room in the fridge for our takoyaki, so let's see if that's actually true. Well, I'll be damned. There really is no room for my takoyaki. If you've ever wondered what's in the male bathroom, it's just a white room. Geez guys, you couldn't even put a hole in the floor? But as undesirable as this bathroom is, it's still much better than the girls' bathroom, which is just outside. It's just being outside. Have fun peeing on the sidewalk, girls. If we take a peek under the covers, we get to see Makoto's little toesy-woesies up close, which is super weird because they're not visible in the game at all. So the developers just made a model for Makoto's feet just for the hell of it. Bookstores are so peaceful to me, so serene. They remind me of my youth and, oh my god! At the ramen house, we could take the camera over and get a better look at the food. Doesn't look too bad, but it's no Final Fantasy 15 dish, I'll tell you that much.
I've come up with a new recipe.
This dude is just like, how the fuck are my chopsticks doing that? Let's take a look outside the classroom window and see the school grounds. Here's Akutsuki's observatory that he built for attempted murder. I feel like that must have been a tough ask from the school board. Okay, so I need about 3 mil to build this giant structure in the middle of the school campus. Oh, what for? Looking at the stars? There's actually a shocking amount of stuff rendered behind the school. It's also interesting to see Port Island Station is within walking distance of the school grounds. But of course, you'd never see this from the classroom window, so why did they bother putting this here? You may be wondering what the school's auditorium looks like from a different angle. Here it is. If we follow some of the students past the main gate, we see that they just kind of disappear, their souls vanishing silently into the ether. Did they ever truly live? Will anyone mourn their passing? Will anyone mourn ours? What does it truly mean to live? In the music room, we see the song on the whiteboard. If you could read sheet music, then it should immediately be clear what song this is. That's right, it's Gangster's Paradise by Coolio. On the wall are paintings of famous musicians. Beethoven, some guy, James Madison, Karl Marx. Tetsumi Memorial Hospital is a place you'll see a few times in the game, but never in very great detail. Once again, we get to see Makoto's stinking feet, but what I found the most strange was just how much background the developers added. You literally can't hardly see out the window at all, and yet look how much freaking real estate is out of view. So the camera never changes on the world map, so technically there was no need to actually make this thing 3D, when they could have just pre-rendered it. But nevertheless, here's a fully 3D, low-poly display of Port Island. On a whim, I decided to fly my ass to the moon, sure that it was just a PNG or something in the distance, but as I kept pushing the camera further and further, something became clear. The moon we constantly see in the background is actually a giant moon-sized 3D object. That's really cool, but like, seriously, why the hell wouldn't they just use a picture of the moon?
Don't you dare look up.
You know what, Yukari? I wasn't going to, but nobody tells me what to do. Oh my god. So if you were curious how the monorail worked, basically the monorail stays still and the track model moves past it, disappears in the distance, and then it reloads. It Persona 3 reloads. In the Velvet Room, there's a couple of doors we wouldn't normally be able to see. Who knows what alternate dimensions they may lead to? Maybe a dimension where Elizabeth is a boy, and navigation is terrible. Let's also take a good look at Igor's nose. I bet the ladies love him, if you know what I'm saying. Kenneth Arnold is a CD store at the mall, and weirdly, it's the only place you can't enter, so let's take a tour. I don't know if you ever get to see this in the game, but the ceiling of the mall has this sky mural, which is meant to resemble the sky mural in Venus Fort, Tokyo, which was the inspiration for Paulownia Mall. Let's explore the police station. Hey, wait a minute. Here's a better look at the outside of Tartarus. It pretty much just looks like a billboard that cuts off past the view of the player. Here's the inside of Tartarus. Chagall Coffee was one of my favorite places to look around in the game. First, you have this sad woman just sitting out of view. She's by herself, staring thoughtfully at her drink. At first I felt bad for her. I mean, look at us, here on our date. We two sexy, hot-blooded youths with our whole lives ahead of us. And here's this sad, middle-aged woman that looks like a potato. But then I thought, you know, maybe she's actually happy. Maybe she's finally snuck away from her family to have one night of silence and peace, free of adult responsibilities and burdens. Or maybe she's thinking about how she'll kill her husband and kids, I don't know. Now, if you're a coffee drinker, Chagall has plenty of choices. Unfortunately, all of them are chocolate crunch crunts. And if you're hungry, you could always buy cake etc. fruit tilt. Or might I interest you in a delicious cake etc. fruit tilt? And if you're vegan, don't worry, we've got cake etc. fruit tilt. All for the low price of $350 US. Which is extra weird because it's Japan. The Champ de Fleurs section of the game is definitely one of the weirdest / horniest, with that scene where Yukari decides to just take a shower out of nowhere. Well, let's see if we can take a better look at that. For science. So unfortunately, not only is Yukari not in there, but there's not even a shower, and the bathtub is full of blood, which is absolutely disturbing. We all know how Persona 3 ends with Makoto, drifting off to sleep, but you don't need to save the world from some eldritch horror just to get a good night's rest. Which brings us to this video's sponsor, Monta Sleep. Also, look, buy this shirt. It's awesome. wesdoesgames.shop. Buy it now.
Oh, hello. I'm Ebenezer Scrooge, and I've been getting no sleep since these freaking ghosts have been haunting my old ass. But I've been hearing rumors around the town square of a sleeping mask that not only completely blocks out light, but it can help me drown out these awful ghosts too with calming white noise. The Monta Sleep Mask, the world's comfiest blackout sleep mask. It's made from soft, durable, breathable, and washable materials. The Sound Edition comes with Bluetooth speakers. Now you can gently fall asleep to white noise on your phone and not have to listen to any of this riffraff. The best part of these speakers is that they're paper thin, so if you sleep on your side, you won't feel them at all. And you can easily adjust the volume without having to take off the mask. So go to mantasleep.com today to explore the variety of products that will help you get the best sleep of your life. After all, I need my workers well rested and energized so they could get up early on Christmas Day and toil in the fields or work in the mines or whatever sort of company I run that makes me so rich. I learned nothing. Go to mantasleep.com today. Bah humbug. There, I said it.
If you've got a couple hours to kill and you're near Port Island Station, why not see a film at Screenshot Theater? Currently playing is Detonator, A Troubling Trend for a Dutch, a movie about two men that are either about to fight or kiss each other. There's also Friday and a Certain Day, fans of a Dutch soccer team. Americans heading off to war are facing. Man, that is quite a subtitle. But if you're in the mood for something more lighthearted, there's always The More Than Dreamin'. Look at that, not even an apostrophe after the end. What absolute savages. Tetsumi Port Mall. Every day. Enjoy! When we first see Chidori at Port Island Station, I always wondered what she was drawing. So let's take a look. Huh. It's Junpei, which is definitely weird because they haven't met yet. And if we move the camera to Junpei's point of view, he could definitely see that she's drawing him. So I guess Chidori's just like kind of a creepy stalker, right? So presumably to save on resources, the inside of the movie theater and the lobby are crammed together in the same area. Take a look at all these creepy floating NPCs. Throughout the game, you may have noticed that the NPCs closest to the camera have the most detail, which makes sense, but it's just weird when you see them so close to each other. Like, these guys are pretty detailed, especially this guy who works for sports. This woman behind him is looking pretty stylish. I swear this is something my wife would wear. But then when we see the row of NPCs directly behind her, we can see just how dramatically simplified they are. This dude doesn't even have a face. I mean, just look at him trying to grab his invisible wiener. They couldn't even bother rendering a low-poly wiener for him to be holding? Let's explore the back alley in Port Island Station. There's a ton of little details here that we really don't get to see up close. Like this janky-ass looking cat, or this crow that's drinking a can of espresso. I feel like this would make a good coffee mascot. This lot, I'm pretty sure, was where Ken's house was before it got demolished. It's a hugely important story location, and of course, you can't normally see it at all in the normal game. Persona 3 raises a lot of questions about the nature of the soul, what makes some religious figures more real than others, and tons of other thought-provoking topics. But for me, I just wanted to know if Mitsuru's dad actually lost his eye, or if he was just a big fat faker. So when we zoom in, we discover that this lying son of a bitch has two perfectly functioning eyes. Hey, this guy's a phony! A big fat phony! The beach at Yakushima Island was actually the one place I was most interested in moving the camera around, considering it's a one-time location and the opposite of the city vibes that you spend most of the game in. When we zoom way out, we see there's actually quite a lot of island and ocean created, way more than they needed to make. A lot of the background details in Persona 3 Reload are kinda badly designed. I mean, with a fixed camera angle, the game only shows you what it wants you to see, so it makes sense not to put a lot of detail into little things the player won't see up close, but sometimes it could just be a little ridiculous. Like, look at this shit-ass, Metal Mario-ass looking waterfall. I know it's way off in the background where the player won't be able to see it up close, but come on. This is a PlayStation 5 game. Inexcusable. You make me sick, weird chrome waterfall. When trying to read the sign, I stumbled across Aigis, who is just chilling here during the beach segments, creepily waiting behind the sign and staring blankly at nothing. Actually, you know what? Go watch my Tales of Symphonia Iceberg after this. You'll discover that characters peeping behind trees is apparently a long-standing tradition in RPGs. Above the forest is the shadow map texture that I'm assuming is being used to artificially cast shadows underneath it, creating a tree canopy effect in lieu of actually having the trees casting shadows. Which is a smart and resource-saving way to do it, but of course, it really breaks the immersion when we see it for ourselves. I thought these shadows were real, but they were just a fucking lie! The Hanged Man is one of the most freaky designed creatures in Persona 3, so I thought I'd take a closer look at him. And unfortunately for me, I saw something that will forever haunt me. I mean, when does he ever open his mouth? Why is this thing here? On a brighter note, the shadow is what you'd call dummy thick.
I be dummy thick, I got a dummy dick.
Jin's persona has all the zodiac signs on it, something most people probably wouldn't have noticed from a distance. Here's a look at Takaya's gross, inside-out fetus persona. He's so nasty, he looks like one of the Venture Brothers clones. Considering the animations are all rendered on the spot, it's a shame P3 didn't do some sort of slow-mo effect like in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, moving the camera around in battle just looks sick as hell. There definitely could have been something here. I mean, even like a photo mode or something would have been awesome. Here's the zoomed out perspective just to show how freaking big Satan is. If you ever wondered how Jin and Takaya survived jumping off the bridge, well, the answer is actually quite simple. They just magically levitated just out of sight until everyone left. One of the most shocking discoveries I found when hijacking the game's camera was related to the scene of Akutsuki's betrayal. After he shoots Mitsuru's dad, if we zoom in, we can discover that not only is he lying about losing his eye, but he is in fact still very much alive. Next, we'll explore the hotel the party stays at during the Kyoto trip. I always wondered what was outside this window, and as we could see, it's simply a peaceful little garden area. With chrome water again. Why does the water in this game look so bad, seriously? Mitsuru was genuinely shocked at Yukari's slap, as was all of us. I mean, her dad just died. Take it down a notch, Yukari, you heartless bitch. The hot spring was another area I knew I'd be interested in seeing from a different view. If we dip below the water, we could see a bunch of legs. Just a bunch of legs and butts. Just a bunch of legs and butts. When the girls arrive, they're standing in front of this locker room, which we never even get a glimpse of in the game since the door is closed. Fascinatingly, this room is fully modeled, with custom floor tiling, mirrors, lockers, sinks, complimentary lotions and gels. Just imagine being the developer that worked on all of this, only to discover that there wouldn't even be an ounce of this shown in the game. Well, I see you, random developer who made all of this. I see you. Wait, I'm gonna do like a 007 James Bond between the legs kind of shot. Bang! I mentioned the water looking bad, which is maybe excusable because it's way off in the distance, but we routinely see cars up close throughout the game, and they look like absolute dookie. These look like N64 models. I could literally design a better 3D car. Not trying to sound like a hater. I love this game still, but damn. One thing I found fascinating is that during in-game cutscenes, the in-game camera works like a real camera, with adjustable ISO and f-stop and all that. So accordingly, some scenes will have the f-stop at a low value, meaning you'll get this cool depth of field effect, which will adjust according to what it's focused on. Here's a better look at just how huge Nyx is. And finally, here's a better look at Egg Nyx, and the inside of the moon. Well, that about wraps up everything I wanted to show you today. Go watch my full Persona 3 retrospective, buy this shirt, and get a good night's rest with Mana Sleep. And have a great day.